Let me show you my countryside through these old headlights. We can take this road as far as you want to go. I'll show you how a country mile can take us all night. Feeling high in a bull's tail up a no dirt road. I ain't gonna run or hide. We can let the fire burn wild. That's just my countryside.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. It's been so hot that I really can't do videos outside very well without getting like hot and miserable and kind of cranky, to be honest. So raise your hand if that's you, and the heat really just kind of takes it out of you. Anyway, so we're gonna be doing a few projects inside. We're gonna be starting with our tallow. I had made like a whole batch of tallow, you know, got all my like products restocked and everything, but I really like to have extras on hand just in case I need to quickly replenish any of my stock or inventory. So anyways, we're gonna be taking this. This has been rendered down twice now, and I like to render it about 3 times. So we're going on our 3rd cycle of rendering, and so we're gonna pop this out of here, scrape off the you know, remnant stuff that we don't really want in there, particles, and then we're gonna be putting it back into our Instant Pot, and then we're gonna run it for another cycle, let it render down, and then we'll pop it back in the fridge, and then by that time we should be pretty good. Okay, so here we have the tallow. It has been in the fridge overnight, and so it is pretty solidified. You really can't press into it, which is how it should be. So what I'm gonna do is kind of just take this around. And if you're not familiar with the benefits of tallow skincare, please do some research. I have a website, Aruka Restorative Holistics, that offers all of my tallow skincare on there. And then if you're local, I just released on our Aruka Fortified Farmstead Facebook page, or I think it's actually in the group, so you'll have to add to the group. I just added our price list on there to be able to do local pickups and stuff. So anyways, we're gonna pop this out of here. There's so many benefits to tallow. It is the most bioidentical to our own skin, and so that's why it just has so many great benefits. So let's see if we can get this out of here. It's a tough one, isn't it? There we go. Okay. So it's got stuff underneath, which is what we want. We wanted it to separate. So if this grosses you out, it's part of the process. So when you get our fine, white, silky tallow, it's because it has gone through this entire process of the rendering down. So it's definitely, as you can see, much necessary. And so this is just all the parts that were in that beef fat that you don't want, obviously, going into your tallow. So we just scrape all this off. You get it as much scraped off as possible. And then again, it's obviously not ready. So when we're done, we should have like pretty clear water down here, with barely any particles left on this underside. So you can see anything that's like dark is not what we want in there. So a little bit left on here for this 3rd round is fine, but we try to get as much as we can off without scraping too much of our precious tallow away. So just don't want to scrape off too much of the good stuff. So we just go through here, scrape that off, And then that's the top side, and then the bottom side. So you can see there's still a little bit, which is fine, because it's still, again, going down into our pot here. So we'll move that to the side, and then I just kind of put it down in here, and then I'll kind of cut it using this into some smaller chunks like that. And it just helps break it down and kind of melt again even faster. Kind of like when you separate butter into a pot, it cooks a lot quicker because it has all four sides exposed to the heat. So this I will put in here again, and we'll let it render down for about, I usually will do like 8-hour cycles, especially when it's still got some of that stuff underneath and quite a bit of it, then I'll do an 8-hour cycle. If it was not so much, then I would just do a 4. So, okay. So that's pretty good there. And then what we do is we add about 4 cups of water in there with it. And I'm telling you what, my hands have never been more moisturized during garden season since we're doing tallow. So we'll do 4 cups. There's 2. Hey Peyton, Ruger needs to go out. Got it. Wanna go out? Okay, go potty, boo. Good boy, ring the bell. Okay, and there's 4. And then since this is our 3rd render down, I'll only add about a tablespoon of this salt. So when I start out at about the 1st rendering down, I'll add 3, 2, and then 1 for this last one. And that should be pretty good. And I use mineral salt instead of just regular synthetic salt. So those salt, when it goes into the tallow, it actually will go into your skin, which a lot of us are salt deficient because they've been telling us that salt is horrible for us. So a lot of people are finding that they can sleep better, they have, you know, just better quality of health, they feel better when they do salt. That's why some people will even do salt within their water. Or if you have those Redmond's Relight drink mixes from like Azure Standard, or you can get them on Amazon or straight from their site, they drink those. So anyways, there is our tallow, and we're gonna pop it in for another 8-hour segment. Sure. About lunchtime. Okay, so we popped it in there. And we're gonna plug it in. There we go. We're gonna do a slow cook. Okay, so we're gonna do 4 hours, and then we'll check it, and then we'll pop it in for another 4 hours after that. Okay, and if you're new to rendering tallow, definitely do not let the tallow go down the sink because it can cause issues in the future. So that bowl that I had, I just kind of took out some of that clumps of tallow, and I'll put those in the trash. And then you wanna rinse your bowl out with like hot water, and then let the sink kind of run for a little while. So anyways, just kind of a disclaimer in case you're wanting to try out tallow and do it yourself. So anyways, we are going to be getting back on track with our sourdough. I kind of took a break off. We were gone on vacation. And so we're coming back. And so I'm gonna show you kind of what the process is for refeeding your sourdough starter once it's been in the fridge for quite a while. It's probably been in there for, I wanna say like almost 2 weeks. I've had it in there, just kind of in the back of the fridge chilling. I made sure that I fed it before I put it in. So we're gonna go ahead and take that out, and then we're gonna feed it once it comes back to room temperature. Okay, so here we have our starter, we have our scale, we have our flour, and then I have my measuring cup. So you can use whatever you wanna use to fill it. Sometimes I even just use a spatula, like a wooden spatula, to dig in and dump it in here. So this is just coming out of the fridge. So you can see it's got not too much discoloring, a little bit of discoloring down in there, which is fine. That's the hooch beginning to produce on there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna dump out about all but this bottom, I would say, inch down here at the bottom. And then when it comes to room temperature, then we will definitely refeed this. Till that time, you definitely want to make sure that you cover it up so that no flies or gnats will get in there. I have found that they really like the sourdough. So when I even let it just sit out on the counter here to come up and become active, I have to make sure that it's covered very well. Otherwise, those little pesky little gnats will definitely get down in there. And no thank you. So anyways, we're gonna let that sit and then we'll come back for it. So the next part that we're gonna do is we're gonna work on fulfilling an order that we got. So she ordered a indulgence, a facial indulgence, which is like for all ages, any like seasons of life that you're in, it's great. And then she ordered a 2 ounce of this rash restoration. So it has like the diaper age in mind, but then it also for like chafing or anything that you have like a reaction for, you can definitely use this rash restoration for that. And then she also ordered a sun cream. So I have that in the tote down here. So we're gonna get those fulfilled. Some of them I don't have the sizes already prepared, but again, that's why I keep stock like already on hand. Or like in bigger jars so that I can just kind of pour it into the appropriate jar. So we're gonna grab the 2 ounce. This is the 2 ounce of that facial. I sell it in a 1 ounce and then I also sell it in a 4 ounce as well. So anyways, we're gonna get that one prepared and then we'll go ahead and pour into the correct jars for the other sizes. Okay, so, whoa, you're all the way down here. So we have it to put in these jars. This is how I store them. This is like the extras of each recipe that I do. So this is the rash remediation and then this one is the sunscreen. So as you can see, they're similar, not the exact same recipe. Some differences within the recipe and some of the ratios are quite a bit different too. The sunscreen we're gonna be putting into a 4 ounce. The rash remediation we're gonna be putting into the 2 ounce. So I'll probably go get my labels first to mark these lids so that we don't get them confused once we pour them. Okay, so we're gonna put this on the rash restoration. They're in there killing wasps. Apparently there's wasps or bees in my room. And then we'll do this one on the 4 ounce lid. That way we'll know exactly what's what and we don't get them confused. So when I go to pour this, I want to make sure that it's somewhat thick. It's starting to kind of stick to the sides a little bit. If you don't get it mixed very well, if you don't wait for a certain point within this, the ingredients can separate because we use the most raw form of the ingredients as far as them being sold. And so we don't use any emulsifiers. We don't use any of the synthetic stuff within our products. So sometimes with like, you know, the heat or whatever, like if we're shipping like in like super hot temps, sometimes it's only happened once, they can separate. So it's just a quick fix, like, you know, as far as like just whipping it back up. But some people obviously don't want to have to go through the extra work. So, but the same thing can happen here as well. So it can separate once you put it in the jar if you don't wait. See, like that. I'm gonna wait for it to start kind of just being slower to drip off of your spatula. So that's the point that I'll go ahead and pour. So see how it's thicker. There we go. Okay, clean hands. Always make sure you got clean hands when you're doing this. And I always mark my jars. And that's it. We're gonna go ahead and pour the next one. Okay, so the sunscreen one is not quite ready. You can see that it's still pretty soupy in there. So we're gonna go ahead and wait on that until it starts to get a little bit Like it's still dripping pretty good off of there. So we're gonna give it a little bit of time still. I will say that if you can have things on hand, like if you're gonna do this, if you can have sizes on hand, that's definitely helpful. And I do have those on hand. I just don't like to dip into them because when I do like vendor events or when we do our Azure drop, sometimes I'll actually set up my products there. And I don't really like to dip into that stock if I have some back stock already, just in a larger jar that I can pour into the smaller jars. So anyways, definitely have things on hand, but I don't do a lot of like the larger sizes, just because with a business that's just starting out within the last year, it's been a little bit over a year now. I really don't like to do a lot of those larger sizes because a lot of people are still trying things out. And so I do a lot of the 1 ounce and the 2 ounce, not so much the 4 ounce. I do keep 1 or 2, but I like to keep those for, like I said, when I do those events. So anything else that, like I say, if I get an order on my website, I will like hand pour from the fresh batch that I just did into the jars and sell them that way. Okay, so sorry about that. I actually poured this. I had a phone call. I was actually talking to one of our local parks and recs about their farmers market. So if you're local, definitely check out Randleman Farmers Market. I'm gonna be going there probably like August 17th is what I believe he said. And then again at the end of September. So anyways, I got that one poured. So that finishes up her 3 items that she got from our website. So I'm so thankful for each and every person. So I know this isn't like your typical Aruka Fortified Farmstead video, but I've got to like be able to knock some stuff out while taking you guys along with me. So we're going to check on our sourdough and see if that is ready. I'm going to put you right here. So we're gonna go ahead and take out all but about the last inch at the bottom, and then we'll put it into another jar. And I need to do some recipes because I have a bunch of sourdough in the fridge, sourdough discard in the fridge also. So it's still pretty cold, but should be able to feed it, because as long as it's like oozing out like that, it should be pretty good to go. So at least to feed it. So we're going to try to use this discard today because I've got quite enough in there already. Okay, so that gets us to about that last inch down there. So, and what I like to do is I like to use like part bread flour and part white all-purpose flour. Now I know a lot of people have their opinions on those. I just know with coming from where we were in our journey of like ditching a lot of the like toxins and synthetics and things that are like triggering for our health and for our gut, we are still kind of on that transition. So I like to kind of do a mixture of the two because I'm trying to transition the kids off of white flour for just everyday baking and onto the bread flour that has more whole grains. So at some point we'll get there, but right now we're not there yet. So I'm doing about, I'll do 2/3 cup of the white flour, and then I'll do the same thing of this bread flour is what I use. There we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna get a wooden spoon to give this a good stir. Get my paddle. And then we're gonna add some water to this. So my flour is about up to here now. So we're just gonna add equal parts water. I actually do a little bit less. and I don't measure anymore, but if I were doing, say, flour, I would probably do maybe 30 grams of flour or 60, whatever. And then I would do, so say if I did 30 grams of flour, I would probably do about 25 grams of water, because I do like mine a little bit thicker. But typically it's equal parts is how they'll tell you. But I have found that when I do it a little bit thicker, it actually becomes active and more bubbly sooner than if I did it thinner. We're using that equal parts measurement. So I just kind of eyeball it. I don't usually measure a whole lot anymore. I got the scale out just to show you the tools that you'd need, but this is definitely something that I do pretty regular, and so I don't need to go by the scale. I'm just more going by the feel of it. I'm looking for like that pancake batter, maybe a tad thicker than that. I'm gonna add a little bit more water. I'll get you over here so you can see it better. There we go. So you can see inside there. Hear the water kind of sloshing until it gets incorporated. Okay, so that's pretty much how I like it. It's got some shagginess to it, not super thick, has some bounce in there. So again, just a little bit thicker than like say a pancake or waffle batter. Making sure I scrape all my sides. Okay. There we go. Just kind of get that off of there. You want to make sure you get as much of those clumps, if not all of those clumps out as you can. Sometimes I don't get all of them out, and that's okay. It'll just do your best. There we go. So now we're going to put our lid on and make sure that it's not super tight, because you want those gases to be able to escape. Otherwise your jar can bust. I just recycle my lids, not for canning purposes, but just to use on top of other products. So I just kind of keep this ring a little bit loose, and then we wait for it to rise. So while I'm on the topic of it, if you are wanting to get into sourdough and it's something you want to explore, I created a sourdough. I'll probably go get it here in a second. I created a sourdough dehydrated packet that has a label on it with a QR code. So you scan that QR code, and then it'll take you to the Canva guide, a guide in Canva, and that goes over your rehydration for your sourdough, dehydrated sourdough. It goes over the maintenance, and it goes over feeding. So I kind of watched like a million YouTube videos. It was like kind of time consuming, to be honest. And I had purchased my original sourdough from a gal on Instagram, and it came with the rehydration instructions, but there wasn't anything after that. So I decided that through all of my like YouTube watching and following other people and just figuring out all the things, I decided to put it into a like 3-page guide that walks you through how to do it. So, and then of course I'm always here for questions. You can always comment on one of my sourdough videos if you have a question specifically pertaining to that. But yeah, definitely I'll put the link down below. It's on our website. It's 20 bucks. And so that the rehydrated or the dehydrated sourdough with that guide, it's well worth the 20 bucks. So anyways, definitely check out that link when you are finished, but we're gonna continue on here and get some other things done. So this cutting board here I actually got from my mom, who my grandmother had passed away. And so she kind of took it from her, inherited it. And so I told my mom I needed a good cutting board because my other ones, I do not want to use plastic anymore as far as cutting boards because of the microplastics that go into your food. And then my wooden one that had our engraving on it, someone put it in the dishwasher, and it kind of had like 3 different chunks of wood kind of glued together, and one of those came off. I still use it for like smaller things when I'm cutting. It's kind of handy to have some smaller chunks. But it's nice to have this one. It's like a Korean, which is really amazing. So yeah, just a little backstory on my nice little cutting board. So what we're gonna do now is we're going to do our brown sugar. So I don't know if you know this, but I was like 37 years old when I realized that you can make your own brown sugar. Like, who knew? I had no idea. So anyways, sugar and molasses. Mix those 2 together and you got yourself some brown sugar. So we're gonna do that as well because I wanna make cookies with the sourdough starter. There's like a peanut butter sourdough recipe that I'm gonna do, and I need brown sugar. So we're gonna go ahead and make that. Okay, so we just got our Azure Standard order. I got my sugar here. So if you're not familiar with Azure Standard, I'll drop a link down below too. But typically I have my Azure Standard molasses, but the one that I have is actually a 5-gallon tub, and I don't want to get that out yet. So we're going to use up what we have here. So there's my container of it. We're going to put it on our scale and tare it so that it zeroes out. Okay, and then we're going to add a pound of sugar. I always get this wrong. What's wrong? Maybe. Oh, come on. Oh, whatever. We'll just rip through it. Okay. So, this is a 25-pound bag of organic cane sugar. I don't use the synthetic sugar. So, we're going to do, zeroed out, we're going to do 16 ounces or 1 pound. A little bit more. There we go. Okay, so that's how much it is. I'm gonna do a lot more than that. So typically you would do 1 pound of sugar to a 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So because I have a big, huge container here and we use it quite a bit, I'm gonna do probably triple it. We'll go up to 3 pounds. How's that? Okay. Okay, so it's going to be 3/4 cup of molasses. Okay, so here's my 1/4 cup measuring. There's 1. I go a little bit over because there is some that stays in that measuring cup. So there's 2. Okay, and there's 3. Clean hands. Or you could just get a spatula. Okay, here we go. Move our scale. And just start mixing this up. You can also do this in a blender. I don't really ever do that. I hate to dirty more than what I need to, but you can definitely do that too. And then you can do light brown sugar and dark brown sugar. I'll put the thing up here, a screenshot that I took. And then you can kind of decide which one you want to do. You can do smaller batches. You can obviously scale it up and do larger batches based on your size of family and how often you're using it. But we're going to be selling some of our cookies and stuff here at our farm for pickup every like 2 weeks. We're going to try to do. So we definitely need to be doing a little bit more of this.
The recipe calls for brown sugar instead of regular sugar.
Does it?
Because I tried to use regular sugar once because we're out of brown sugar.
Yeah. You can tell a difference between the regular sugar and brown.
Yeah, it wasn't as good.
Yeah. Definitely want to keep consistent recipe too. Okay, so you can see it's getting darker and darker, and I'm telling you what, there is nothing like making your own brown sugar. Like, it's just so much more rich than what you would get in the stores. And this is pretty dark. Does it call for light brown sugar or dark brown sugar?
Light.
Light? So we'll probably add 2 more cups of sugar to this to make it a little bit lighter then. That's definitely the dark version. Can't do that when we sell our stuff though.
Have some more in? Cheese?
More cheese, dude.
Now we're gonna fill up our container with our restocked sugar. Use all different things to measure, obviously. Like multiple. So, pour some of this in here. And what I like about Azure Standard is that you can get all different types of products. So they sell like regular sugar, they sell cane sugar, they sell artificial stuff that's on the more healthier side, like stevia or stevia, however you say it. And they have all different size options. You don't have to get huge things like this, but because obviously the scale that we do things, we definitely use the bigger portions.
I think, Mom,
There we go.
stevia.
Is it stevia? Not stevia?
Some people call it that.
So this recipe is from homemadefoodjunkie.com. So if you want to go check that out, we're going to be doing I already measured out our brown sugar. So this is 1.5 cups of brown sugar, and it has the grams on there if you guys want to use the grams. And then we're going to do our peanut butter. So I have this here. This is from Azure Standard. It's that one with the raccoon on it. Oh gosh, I can't even remember the name. But it's organic peanut butter. It says to use creamy Jif style, but I'm really trying to eliminate as much of that version as possible with the kids. Although they don't like it as much, but in a recipe like this, it'll be fine. Just not on like...
It's called Once Again.
Once Again, yes, thank you. But this one is a better option. The ingredients are better, cleaner. So yeah, so we're gonna do, how much of the peanut butter? 1 cup worth of peanut butter. So I'm gonna get put it down in there. And we'll pour the peanut butter in there. It's just not as like, it is pretty thick. You can just tell it's more natural, so the boys are kind of like, they poo-poo it on sandwiches. But in like power protein balls, in recipes like this, it's perfect. So 1 cup of peanut butter with our brown sugar. I put the brown sugar in first so the peanut butter doesn't stick as much to the bottom of this bowl. I'm trying to think ahead. Eliminate some of the headache, right? So we got that, and then we're gonna do our vanilla, and then we're gonna put it in our mixer until it's fluffy. You gonna help me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so of this, we need 1 teaspoon. So do you want to measure a teaspoon?
No.
Normally I just pour it, but we can measure a teaspoon. Okay, right here. So see the lowercase t and the SP? That's 1 teaspoon. So go ahead and pour that on. Until it just fills it up. Might go fast, it'll be easy. Okay, good. Perfect, got 1 teaspoon. And this is the vanilla paste. If you guys have not used this, this is from Trader Joe's. It is so good, like so good. Now I'll say that, but I also have my own vanilla that's in the other room prepping. You wanna taste it? Have you ever tasted just straight vanilla?
No.
So, but yeah, if you're buying or like vanilla from the store, switch to this. Otherwise, support your local farmers and makers and bakers and order some of theirs. Do you like it? It's pretty good, isn't it? Okay, so brown sugar, butter, and vanilla. So we're gonna put our butter. This is supposed to be softened, but it went a little bit longer. This is that Rumiano organic sea salted butter, European style. This is from Azure Standard. I just got our order and it's like, I bought 12 of them, of the salted and the unsalted. So melted butter is fine too. Doesn't really matter that much in the recipe. Still comes out delicious, right? Right now.
Oh.
But if we gotta do some hand mixing, you can do that, okay? Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put this in our mixer stand here.
Need this?
And we definitely need that. You remember how to do that? Good job. Okay, we're gonna raise that up. And then no, we're in the middle of baking them. All right, go ahead.
This.
Go ahead. Okay. So now we have that. We're gonna add the flour. Let me just set that down. We're gonna add the eggs. Now it calls for 2 eggs, but I'm gonna do 3 because I have some smaller laying hens. Do those 2. There's 1.
It's like a made a hole.
There's 2. Good. That's okay, that's part of the egg. It's the buildup of calcium. Okay. So this right here is what he was referring to. It's like a little bump, and that's just a little buildup of the shell when she laid it. So, farm fresh, huh?
Yeah, but one.
Okay, so we're just gonna mix these up. And you're gonna mix that up?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and then you're gonna blend it till smooth, and then we're gonna add in the flour, baking soda, salt, and powder.
Just put it all the way to the pan.
Okay, can you scrape the sides?
Can you like that?
Not yet.
I'll do this.
Can you scrape the sides with your spatula?
That's it. I'm gonna make this after this bowl.
Okay, let me see it.
Make up only the bottom of it. Where'd you put that twist open?
Okay, so now wait, we need to, don't like that yet.
I know.
So we're gonna just kind of fold in our oats.
Try it?
Oh, you wanna put those in?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now go ahead and stir that up.
I like stirring. My favorite part.
Is it? Oh, I love that, buddy. Wow, you're good at it too, aren't you?
Not as good as you.
Well, how old are we? How old are you?
6.
6. How old is mommy?
I'm 90.
95. I am ancient like a dinosaur. Do you think mommy's been doing this a long time?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that mean I have lots of experience?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you have lots of experience?
Yeah.
As much as mommy?
No.
No, that's why sometimes it doesn't seem like you do as good a job, but I think you do great. And then as you get older, you just keep getting better and better. It's hard. It's hard work, isn't it? Oh
No.
gosh, you're doing good though. Looks pretty good. Do you want to do the chocolate chips now?
Yeah.
That whole thing goes in there.
The whole thing?
The whole thing. That's 2
Can I have a
cups.
touch it, Tip?
2 cups of it.
Can I have a second
You
chip?
can have one, yeah, as your payment. Bombs away!
Can I mix it?
Yeah? Oh, there's another chocolate chip in there.
I'll eat it. I'll eat it.
I'm sure you will.
I'm sure. I'll put it in.
Okay, how beautiful is that? I like those big chocolate chips in there too.
Mom and Dad, here's your reminder. Do math.
Do math. We're on break. Alexa didn't get the memo, did she? Okay, so I actually scratched that. I just took a bite. It says to pop these in the fridge for about 20 minutes to chill. Then we'll pop them in the oven. Hey friends, so we are going to, it's been about a little over 20 minutes. I went ahead and ate lunch. We're gonna put these parchment papers on our sheet here. And then I'm gonna get my scooper. Okay, so I use this little scooper here, and then we're gonna get it on our sheet here. So go like that. All right, friends, we're gonna get this out of the oven here. we're not. It says to let it cook for 9 to 11 minutes. We put it in for 9, not quite ready. So we're gonna do another 2 minutes and check it. Okay, so let's check these again. They're getting there, but I would still say another couple minutes. Probably because that butter was melted. Okay, so let's check these again. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So good. Okay, so had we have not have taken a few chunks out of that cookie dough, it would have made 36 cookies, but we were one shy of making 36, so it's gonna make 35. So if you're using that recipe at home, it definitely makes 36 cookies, which is nice. I was wondering with all that butter. So yeah. So we're gonna do this 10 minutes on here for the first batch that I just put in, and then we'll just leave it in a few extra minutes for that second batch I just put in.
Is that the done?
You guys, it's so good. So the outside is just like a tiny bit crunchy down where it was on the pan, but the inside is like so soft. I wouldn't say that it's gooey besides like the melted chocolate, but they're like a soft, round, plump cookie. So good. Boys, what do you guys think?
So good.
You like it? What?
This?
Mm-hmm. And then we can move those to the top. Ow. 3 minutes. All right, friends, well, I think that's gonna do it for us for this video. I will be shooting another video outside today going over some sunflowers. I know that one of our subscribers here has asked about sunflowers and kind of why I plant those, and so I do wanna go over that for anybody else that's wondering all the benefits of sunflowers for the garden. So that's gonna be it. Here's our cookies. Amazingly beautiful. We will have them, probably gonna be adding these onto the menu for our pickups locally here. So definitely, if you are local, place your order, but they're beautiful and they're delicious. So that's gonna be it. We'll see you on the next video. Please hit the like and subscribe to get notified of future videos, all things garden, farming, cooking, baking, all the things. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye, friends.
Look at these pumpkins. No, look at these pumpkins. I'm gonna put these in the